Jojo's Bizarre Adventure. This is that box that like almost nobody has. This series, I'll honestly say, even in America, this series was expensive as hell. Because this was released by Super Techno Arts. That doesn't even exist anymore. But I think they put their company together damn near just for this anime for the most part. And I know they made some money off of it. I don't know why they folded or whatever. They just couldn't get licenses to anything else. But the key things to know about this series is that, basically it starts at the disc 4 it says here. This is technically the first one because they started airing it, not airing it, but releasing the OVAs in Japan. This first, the OVA first. So they kind of put an end story first, and then they made these later. So these are more like a prequel to these, but they technically all flow directly together. They were designed so that this finished right where this began. That's kind of how they were all laid out. But this is an amazing story. If you have not seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, you should check it out. I mean, it is gold. It is absolute platinum gold, the story. It is absolutely entertaining in every way you could possibly fathom. I love the end part of it more than the beginning. But the other thing that really makes this series amazing is that all the sound effects are done by Skywalker Sound, which is amazing. I mean, like, you see this animation, and back, the original OVA animation was made in the 90s. And it looks pretty good, it does. You can see a lot of graininess in it and stuff like that, but then you hear these sounds come out, and these sounds are just so beyond this series. I mean, the sounds like, it's sad, but the sounds are better than the sound effects are almost better than the series itself. I mean, I don't want to say that the story is really, 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 really good. I mean, that's why it's so captivating and so amazing to watch. I mean, you just sit there and you're sweating while you're watching it. It's so entrenching, especially the last 3 episodes. Technically the first 3, but the final story, or the final chapter, the final 3 volumes of this. That's where the really intense, awesome stuff is. It's very gory, extremely graphically violent, but extremely intelligent. There's a lot of intelligent design in the story and all this. And obviously, this is very popular manga in Japan, popular video game, all that kind of stuff. They released the video game in America on like Dreamcast once, and yeah, it failed. People just don't know what it is. But this, if you guys haven't seen this series, you've got to check it out. It is fucking amazing. Ninja Scroll, awesome. I think the original title is Jubei no something. I don't remember the original title, but I actually haven't watched this in a long time. This is one of the first animes I ever bought, like on VHS, because it was by manga. The Stars, who owns Stars? Liberty Media. So Liberty owns manga. So Liberty. This is like, Liberty's still around. I mean, they got Ghost in the Shell, and that's where they made a shit ton. I mean, just the original Ghost in the Shell movie all by itself made U.S. manga a crap ton of money. But yeah, that's awesome. It's really cool. I don't know. I think a lot of people see. There's a Ninja Scroll after this. It's horrible though. But anyway, it's the same. They made a TV series after this. It's not a TV series. It's like another OVA or something. It's like an OVA series. It was really crappy, though. Don't watch it. I mean, I don't own it because it was that bad. I mean, it was, like, bad. I like buy shit just because I want all of it, but it was so horrible that I never bought it. I don't care for it. Whatever. Junikoki. This is awesome. Oh, God. If you guys haven't seen this is awesome. Like, every time I watch Game of Thrones, I think of this. This is like an Asian Game of Thrones for the most part. I mean, it really is. I saw the opening, and the opening reminds me of this. I mean, if I know they wrote all the books and stuff, but if the original author of Game of Thrones has never seen these, I would be extremely surprised. And I'm fine with people borrowing stuff. I mean, if you borrowed stuff from this, that's fine. Or if those books are older than this and they borrowed shit from here from the books, like maybe the whole concept, that's fine too. Whatever the oldest dating thing is. But either way, I just have this nagging feeling that this has some kind of link to Game of Thrones one way or another. Either author to this or this to the author or something. I don't know. But I just have the feel there's they just seem so similar. This is just way more drawn out. I mean, you think Game of Thrones is spread out? This is way more spread out. Well, no, I guess it's not, because yeah, Game of Thrones is already they're filming season 3 right now. So yeah, I guess not. But they're really good. Don't watch them if you have ADHD. I guess that would be my suggestion. Jungo wa itsumo Hari no Chigu. This is awesome series. You don't even understand how excited I was when this series came out. Like, this series came out right when fan subbing was getting really, really big. And like, I was almost thinking of, some friends and I were actually honestly thinking of starting a company, purchasing the rights to this and releasing it in America, just because it was so good. And we were learning a lot of Japanese, and we want to do we want to release stuff in America and do subtitling and all that kind of stuff. But we realized later that we would have had to dub it if we wanted to have a chance of selling it in America, and I hate dubbing, so we kind of just gave up on that whole idea. So those things that you think about how aggressive you could be. Anyway, Jungo wa itsumo Haru no Chigu, awesome series. Insanely funny, insanely crazy, very psychological. Just amazing, absolutely amazing to watch. Just every second of it. It's like watching, this would probably be the closest thing to South Park in Japan, I'd say, because it's just incredible. And it's funny. It has a lot of obviously, because it's Japanese, it has a lot of Japanese cultural references and stuff, but there really isn't that many. A lot of it is, it all takes place in a jungle, so a lot of that stuff you got to kind of throw out of the ballpark. So all these characters are absolutely zany beyond all imagination, and it is a comedy series. It's all insanely crazy comedy, and everything they do in it is literally to elicit a hilarious reaction from you, pretty much. Steam Detectives. This is steampunk TV series. It was okay. It wasn't terrible. I've seen better. Steam Boy. I don't like Steam Boy too much, but it's better than this. So it's not terrible. I don't know if I'd probably stream watch this if you really want to see it. Karasa is really cool. This seems more like there's an interesting deep story behind it, but it seems like they made it more to let's try out some cool animation technology and see how it works. And it does look amazing. The story's kind of crazy, but I mean, this is all they ever made. They didn't really make much of it. This is more like a kind of. They might have made more of it in Japan. I don't know. I didn't really follow it that closely. I don't know how to say this. Le Chivalr d'Eon. Yeah, this is actually pretty cool. It's all about these guys that during the 17th century or something like that. I don't remember exactly what. And it takes place in France, and these guys can reanimate zombies, reanimate people, and they're trying to make an army out of them or something like that. Just weird stuff like that. I didn't get a lot of. It's not the best thing I've ever seen, honestly. It's not terrible, but yeah. I'll tell you when a series is really terrible. This is just one of those kind of series. Not bad, but not really amazing. Karashi Kanojo, everybody knows this. It's amazing that Gainax made this. Obviously, if you have not seen this is one of those things you have to see, because it's called Kaze no Tani no Nadeshko. This is my favorite movie ever, literally. Blu-ray, unopened. Don't ask me why it's not opened. I got to be out of my mind. And no, I don't care about all these famous people in it. I love Patrick Stewart. Uma Thurman's awesome. Shia LaBeouf's in it. I don't give a shit. It could be Harrison Ford and fucking Michael Jackson brought back from the dead, and just the most famous people you could possibly imagine, and I still wouldn't give a shit. I'll still only watch in Japanese. I do not give a shit about English dubs. This is the DVD of it. I actually like this cover better. Kaze no Yojimbo. This thing's awesome. I don't know if you guys have ever seen. This is Yojimbo. Akira Kurosawa. Everyone's seen Yojimbo. Fistful of Dollars. Based off of that plot line. But anyway, you get the idea. This is the Yojimbo story in more of a modern setting, small towns, hick towns, I guess. And that's kind of what this is, but the hick towns are controlled by two different mafia-ish organizations. So, and this guy basically plays both sides. It's awesome. If you haven't seen, you can't do the Yojimbo series badly. You just can't. Anything, you can take the Yojimbo plot and put it on anything and it'll be awesome. And they did an awesome job on that. And this came out in America. I was really, really excited. Kitty Grade. This is very 90s. This is like the late 90s. You can tell by the eyes. They don't really draw the newer animation characters like this anymore. Boy, I know this. I know some people that are massive fans of Kitty Grade. But it's a pretty cool series. I really, really enjoyed it. It's not like anything else I've really ever seen before, honestly. Because it's like it's weird because it's like a stepping stone. It's like this is more the 90s. She represents more the 90s form of anime, and she represents the upcoming moe end of anime. You know, both of them. You know, like she's more adult than she is most of the time. It seems like, but it's really cool how their little team works, and you know the story they have that behind the series and stuff. It's actually pretty good. Definitely one of my not favorites, but I put it in the upper echelons of anime without a doubt. It's a cult in some people's books. Oh yeah, Nedesco, awesome series. If you haven't seen it, you got to see it. It was funny. I was looking at I got the latest issue of or the latest copy of Right Stuff's newest catalog. And Nedesco's old school. This is like prime anime. I mean, like, if you were to represent a TV series anime that was in the prime of 90s, to represent the prime of the 90s, that's what I consider Nadeshko. Nadeshko is fucking awesome. The opening theme is amazing. The story is really, really good. It's a zany and fun, and everybody has fun in it, and they just go all over the solar system doing lots of really cool stuff with robots and spaceships and other planets and, well, just Mars, but, you know, still awesome. And it's a lot of fun, a lot of cultural stuff they do on the ships and stuff. Lots of, they even have American references in it, which is pretty cool. Yeah, definitely, you know, if you haven't seen Nadeshko, you should check it out. It's fucking awesome. It's just one of those 90s things that you might have missed. But it was actually, they put Nadeshko on the cover of Right Stuff's latest catalog, which is funny because it's, you know, it's old school. Usually they just put newer stuff on the catalogs. And this is the Prince of Darkness movie that came out later. It's funny, out of the whole Nadeshko thing, Rudy became the cultural, you know, it's always funny, they always pick one character that usually becomes the main focus of the entire series. And, you know, like, she wasn't even the main character at all during the TV series, but in the end, she was what everybody picked out. She became one of those, you know, top 20 animation characters of all time kind of thing. So people love Rudy. Very, very famous character design and stuff. Angelic Layer. This is a Clamp remake. This is actually a pretty cool series. I actually really enjoyed it. It's fun to watch. It's like story, positive world. You don't really have to worry about too much stuff. It's mostly about competition and school life. It's like Cardcaptor Sakura. I put it more like Cardcaptor Sakura. It's more like that. But it's really fun to watch. And anything by Clamp is awesome. Pat Labor, this is pretty much, I mean, I've always wanted Pat Labor. I love Pat Labor. See, I like how they made Pat Labor, because this is like, Pat Labor was Mamoto Oshii's, like, Pat Labor is pretty much what really, really put him on the map. In Japan, I think, is Pat Labor, the original TV series. Because he directed most of the original TV series. It's just, it's amazing. And, you know, he put most of it together. He did so much work on the series. I mean, it was his baby. And his main focus was to try to make the portrayal of the Pat Labors and what they can do and how they work in a realistic society, as realistic as possible. And then basically the character interactions and the comedy and the fun stuff that goes on, you know, when they're not piloting the robots is more of, you know, the regular, you know, fun, having fun with your cast and stuff. All three movies, the Pat Labor. Kamagure Orange Road. This Kamagure Orange Road is my #1 favorite drama series anime ever made, without a doubt. I don't even have to hesitate and think about that. I mean, this series is my absolute favorite. And what's funny is, here, let me pull out one of these volumes. This is, tell you a fun story. Okay, so look at the cover of this. This looks really suggestive, right? This looks really, like if you saw this on the store shelf, the first thing you think is, oh, that's anime porn. Well, the thing is, Animigo had this on the shelves in 1988, but it was in the adult section of the video rental stores. I mean, this is, we're talking VHS and beta days. This is like 80s, very thick into the 80s kind of thing. And, there was no Blockbuster yet or any of that kind of stuff. And I had to, and this is, this is before I really got into animation. I didn't really get into, like, seriously getting into anime until 1995. Yeah. 1995 is when I went full speed into anime. I saw this on the shelf, and basically I had to get my mom to rent it for me. And honestly, I don't even know. You guys are going to say, how the hell did your mom, because I was a little kid. And how did you get your mom to rent this from the adult section for you with a cover like that? She rented it for me. I think my dad was in Africa at the time. And my mom was, she's just, I don't know, she's really nice. I actually told her this story later on. I watched this because, I guess I was expecting nudity. As a little kid, you're hoping you get home and you're going to get to see all this nudity. But, I wasn't a little kid. I was like 12 or 13 or something like that. And, honestly, there's no way I could have appreciated what it was back then. But I do remember it just from this cover that I had rented it. And it's funny, I go back years later, and I ended up buying this series and finally seeing it in, I think, 1996, 1997, something like that. It's so good. It's so amazingly good. I didn't even expect to like it as much as I did. I just wanted to like it just because I was linked to this. I was linked to this picture. I was linked to this. So I didn't, this isn't the first, I actually bought all these all at once. I always wanted Kamagure Orange Road, but I always wondered once I really got into anime, this is the first thing I really dived into and looked for. And then basically it's about a guy that his whole family basically has, they're called witches, but they have like magic powers. Nothing crazy. They can, they do telepathy, move things with their minds, and, do some minor teleporting and shit like that. They can do some crazy things. It depends on if it fits the story well. But this is, the key thing to know about this is also Yomex anime. Like, Yomex made this, and they made Bubblegum Crisis. And those were the two big key things that Yomex made. And then after these two big amazing things, they vanish. They vanish off the face of the planet. Yomex was sucked into another company, and they just didn't make stuff like this. But this was so unconventional, even back then. They did not make anime like this in the 80s. It's just, I look at this and I think it's from the 90s. This feels more like 90s anime, but it's very, very 80s. Very awesome. And then they made, let's see, where's the movie? Yeah, the Kamagure Orange Road movie. This is very deep, because basically this whole thing is, it's a triangular relationship. It's all, that's the key thing, is about taking all the magic. The magic is just there for gimmicky shit. But it's mostly about this triangular relationship about this guy and two girls. And basically, how that relationship progresses to serious and not serious and really serious. And then this movie is the closing. This movie closes all of it out. And they did such an amazing, amazing, amazing job. Oh, God. It makes you tear up. This movie will make you tear up. If you watch this whole series before you watch this movie, yeah. Because if you just watch this movie, you'll have no idea what's going on. And then the OVAs are just some extras. And then obviously they made a later Kamagure Orange Road OVA, just kind of like, the kid goes into the future. I think he screws up on his powers and goes into the future and gets to see his life in the future, and basically what becomes of him and his relationships and stuff like that. So it's pretty amazing. Kino no Tabi, this is an awesome anime. I don't know if any of you have seen it. It's one of those, once in a while they come out with those animes where they don't plan to make a big series. They don't plan to turn this and turn it into Naruto and Bleach and One Piece and shit like that. They don't plan that at all. They're like, here's the story. We're gonna make this one series on it, and that's it. That's all we're gonna make. And because that series in itself is the masterpiece. So I put this in that. Kino no Tabi is really, really good. I put this in that genre. Something else I put in this genre is Mushishi. I put Mushishi and say that, like, you wouldn't want to see a lot of Mushishi. The original Mushishi, The original series was perfect, and they don't need to make any more. Any more would just ruin it. That's what this kind of is. This isn't as good as Mushishi though, but it's really good.